Jai Shri Krishna to one and all. Jai Shri Krishna to one and all. All the wait is over and finally we are here. I, Dr. Kamalvara Kaushal, welcome you to the most awaited interpretation session of Chapter 1, Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama. Essentially, by seva, we must create a good and soothing environment for the other. On seva, Shri Bhagavan has said, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. To attract blessings and knowledge from an acharya, there are three basic needs one needs to comply with. They are devotion, questioning, and service. So by following all these three steps, we can achieve Chitta Shuddhi. So let's start. It's our culture to remember Lord Almighty before everything we do or start. So let's begin this session seeking the blessings of Param Pujya Swami Shri Govind Dev Giri Ji Maharaj and presence of Lord Krishna. So I would like to invite for prayer Kiran Mundra Didi. She resides in Nagpur. She is a social worker. She is serving as a trainer and anchor. She is associated with Geeta Parivar since 2020. Please welcome me.
Jai Shri Krishna. Vasudeva Sudam Devam Kamsa Charurmardana Devaki Paramanandam Krishna Vande Jagadguru Krishna Vande Jagadguru. Jai Shri Krishna. Sabhi ko सादर प्रणाम.
Thank you, Didi, for this beautiful prayer. It's turn for Deep Prajwalana. We will have our traditional and auspicious Deep Prajwalana ceremony as a tribute to Lord Almighty. So for Deep Prajwalana, I would like to invite Alok Bharadwaj Bhayaji. He is from Pune, serving as a trainer, and he is associated with Geeta Parivar since December 2020. Please welcome Bhayaji.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you, Bhayaji. May the darkness of ignorance be swept away by the dawn of self-realization. Now, it's a great honor and privilege for me to introduce our speaker tonight, our respected Vikas Vaidya Bhayaji. He's from Pune. He runs his small IT company. Vikas Bhayaji has knowledge many languages besides Hindi, Marathi, and English. He knows Indonesian, Malaysian, and Spanish languages. He is a senior trainer of all the levels of Geeta Parivar. Bhayaji involved in trainer selection team, teaching and Vivechana team of Vishnu Sahasranama. He guides Geeta Vratis for exams. Bhayaji has been awarded with first prize in Geeta Kanthastikaran exam Sringeri Vidyapeeth by Jagadguru Shankaracharya ji. Please welcome Vikas Bhayaji.
जय श्री कृष्ण। पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन। टुडे वी विल स्टार्ट फर्स्ट अध्याय भगवद गीता, अर्जुन विषाद योग। Arjun got Vishad. Vishad means what? Sad, distressed, nervousness. That is Vishad. So Arjun got sad, distressed, and nervous when he saw all his friends, relatives, and gurus standing in the war. So that is why this Adhyaya is called Arjuna Vishad Yoga, wherein Arjuna expresses his Vishad, his sadness, his distress about fighting this war. And he declares that there is no point in fighting this war. So this kind of expression coming from Arjuna, in this Adhyaya, there are total 47 shlokas. All are in Anushtup Chanda. There is one shloka from Dhritarashtra, the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. There are 25 shlokas from Sanjaya and 21 shlokas from Arjuna. And how many from Paramatma? Shri Krishna? Not a single one. Shri Krishna is a mute spectator as to what is happening. He will start from Adhyaya 2, but now he is just observing the frustrations being expressed by Arjuna. So with this, let us now, what is the background of first Adhyaya? Definitely the background of first Adhyaya is the story of Mahabharata. Kaurava, Pandava, fighting with each other, playing with each other, Kauravas sending Pandavas in exile, all that. So after the expiry of those 12 years in exile and residing in an unknown place for 1 year, Ajñātavās, the Pandavas demanded half of their kingdom from Duryodhana when they came back, because this was promised by Duryodhana. And before this happened, we also know that there was a very disgraceful episode wherein an attempt had been made by Dushasana to publicly disrobe Draupadi. So this was also in the mind of Pandavas. And when they were in Vanvasa and in that Ajñātavās, in exile and residing in some unknown place, there were continued efforts by Duryodhana to eliminate Pandavas so that they don't come back. This was also in the mind of Pandavas, of course. And when they came back, now Kauravas, that means mainly Duryodhana, he continued to deny the rights of Pandavas and refused to give them their part of the kingdom. So keeping all this in mind, Pandavas realized that war was the only option to avenge all this and to get back their rights, which were snatched away by Duryodhana. Shri Krishna, he went to Kauravas as a messenger of peace, trying to make them understand that they should give Pandava, if not half kingdom, at least 5 villages, so that they could live peacefully their life. And this could bring an end to all the conflict between Kauravas and Pandavas. But Kauravas turned down even this peaceful proposal from Lord Krishna. And on the top of it, Duryodhana had the audacity to declare that forget about 5 villages. They won't part away even the land covered by the point of a needle. We won't give even that. If they want anything, they have to fight war with us. So this was an open challenge by Duryodhana to Pandavas. And it was only after this downright refusal, and for of course other reasons of Draupadi getting disrobed and all sorts of things, what we discussed just now, Pandavas saw no more scope for any compromise and negotiation. And finally, the resolve of war was made. When it was decided that war was to take place, Maharshi Vedavyas, he offered the divine vision, the Divya Drishti, to Dhritarashtra. Because Dhritarashtra was a blind person since his birth. So he offered this Divya Drishti to Dhritarashtra so that he could see what was happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. But Dhritarashtra, he declined this offer from Maharishi Vedavyas, saying that he was blind since his birth, and at the end of his life, when he's so old, he did not want to use his eyes to see the bloodbath, which was inevitable. He requested Vedavyas to give this divine sight, Divya Drishti, to Sanjaya. Sanjaya was a cabinet minister in Kaurava's cabinet, and he was an assistant of Dhritarashtra. So that Dhritarashtra requested to Vedavyas that please give this Divya Drishti, this divine vision, to Sanjaya, who could narrate the happenings on the battlefield to me. And so Maharishi Vedavyas, he gave this Divya Drishti to Sanjaya. So this is the background of first Adhyaya. With this, we'll start with reading of the Adhyaya. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā. Atha Prathamodhyāyah. Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samavetayujutsavah. Māmakah Pandavāścaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. Dharmakshetre. Dharmakshetra is the piece of religious importance. Dharmakshetra. Kurukshetra, the name of that place, Kurukshetra, where the war took place. Samaveta. Samaveta is to come together, to get assembled. Yujutsava, with a desire to fight the war. Māmakah. This is an important word which caused the war. Māmakah, my side, my sons. Pandava, Pandu's sons. Kima, what? Akurvata, what they did, what they are doing. So, the question from Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra incidentally has only one sloka in the entire Bhagavad Gita of 700 slokas. This is the only sloka from Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra says, O Sanjay, in the place of that religious importance, the place of pilgrimage, that is the place of Kurukshetra, what my sons, Mamaka, and the sons of Pandu, Pandavas, who have assembled there to desire to fight the war, what did they do? What they are doing? So in Kurukshetra, the demigod used to perform holy yajnas and tapas. So that was a religious place, Kurukshetra. And it was filled and saturated with spiritual atmosphere. The field of Kurukshetra has been called Dharmakshetra. That is the reason it is called Dharmakshetra. It was probably selected with a specific purpose, that the warriors may attain salvation, liberation, moksha when they die at such pious site of pilgrimage. Now we know from the history of the world that there are usually three reasons for the war: land, wealth, and women. This war was supremacy over the land. Supremacy over the land was the reason for this war of Mahabharata. Kauravas did not give the agreed land to Pandavas. In fact, they refused, as we discussed, to part of even the land covered by the point of a needle. This was the arrogance of Kauravas. All the efforts of mediation, even by Lord Krishna, failed. Now, Paramatma says in this sloka, Dhritarashtra is saying, Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta, Yujutsava. Samaveta, Yujutsava. These two groups, Kauravas and Pandavas side, they assembled to fight. But Duryodhana had the keener desire for the war because he wanted to snatch away the kingdom part of Pandavas by hook or by crook, by just or unjust means, or by fair or foul means. So Duryodhana was more eager to start the war. Pandavas, on the other side, had the virtue of righteousness on their side. For the sake of justice, they were prepared to face the war only to protect their rights. So these were the mentalities of both the sides. Pandavas always regarded Dhritarashtra as their father and obeys his orders. But Dhritarashtra they were impartial. He always thought of well-beings of only his sons, Kauravas, and did not care about Pandavas. We know that in North India, even now, the elder uncle, the father's elder brother, is still called Bade Papa, senior father. So Dhritarashtra in a way was senior Papa, Bade Papa of Pandavas. So they respected that position of Dhritarashtra, and they respected him as their father because Pandu died at an early age. But Dhritarashtra's heart was never beating for Pandavas. He had love only for his sons. So this Mamaka, my sons, mine, is the root cause of the war of Mahabharata. Mamaka, my. And this Mamaka also resulted in the total destruction of the family of Kauravas. All died in the war. All 100 Kauravas died in the war. Not a single one survived. The lesson to human being is never be partial to the members of family. Never be partial to the people on the street as well, or of the village, or of your province, or of the country, or of your own sect, because showing partiality, it leads to conflict rather than love and harmony. So if you have to establish love and harmony, be impartial to all the people, to all the situations. Mamaka, my sons, and Pandavas, Pandu's sons, this distinction, it caused the attachment and aversion. Dhritarashtra had attachment for Mamaka and aversion for Pandavas. And this attachment and aversion, it led to the war and the commotion. As we realize now, the commotion in the mind of Dhritarashtra caused the war. While the commotions in the mind of Arjuna, what was his commotion? What was his anxiety? What were his thoughts coming in the mind of Arjuna? How to kill my people? Whether to kill my people or whether to stay away from the war. This is the commotion going on in the mind of Arjuna. But Dhritarashtra's commotion, it resulted in the war. It caused the war. And while Arjuna's commotion, it revealed the Geeta. If Arjuna had not had this kind of sentiments towards his own friends, relatives, probably Geeta would not have happened. Dhritarashtra was physically blind, as we all know, whereas the people like us, common people, who are intellectually blinded by unawareness, ignorance, inertia, and such a blind person commits all sorts of unconscious actions. But when he has to face the fruits of his own deeds, he questions why he has to suffer. But we must understand that we forget the actions which we have committed in the past. And there is no escape from the consequences of karmas that we did in the past. We have to face it. We have to face it. There is no running away from this fact. So on such times, people, they run to temples, they run to gurus, to astrologers, to tantrics, seeking some kind of miracle to happen, which will save them from the calamity which has either already fallen on them or is going to fall on them. So in short, all of us want to cling to our pleasures and we want to avoid the pain. This is the natural instinct to run after pleasures and keep avoiding the pains. So the message is, don't become Dhritarashtra and keep open your eyes to the reality. One interesting observation of Bhagavad Gita is, as we read in this shloka, Gita starts with the word dharma. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. And it ends with the word mama. Mama. Yatra yogeshwara krishno yatra vartho dhanurdhara tatra shrirviyo bhutir dvar nitirmatir mama. Mama. My. Dharma and mama. First word and last word of Gita makes dharma, mama, my dharma, my prescribed duty, my duty. So Gita is covered in these two words, dharma and mama. It teaches us what is your prescribed duty, the importance of duty, the importance of karma. So this is Gita. Dharma, mama, mama dharma, my dharma, my prescribed duty. Let's proceed on to shlok number 2. Sanjaya uvacha društvad pandavanīkam vyūಢam duryodhanastada आचार्यम उपसंगम्य राजा वचनम अब्रवीत्. Društva, after seeing Pandava Anikam. Anikam is soldiers of Pandava. Pandava Anikam. Vyūಢam. Vyūಢ is the military formation. Vyuha. Tada. At that time, Duryodhana, the king of Kauravas, Acharyam. Acharya is Guru, teacher. Who was the Guru? Dronacharya. Upasangamya. Upasangamya is to go near, to approach and go near. Vachanam. Vachanam is the words. And abravit is spoke, said. Past tense abravit, abravit. So at that time, King Duryodhana, after observing, after seeing the military formation set by Pandavas, Vyūಢam, he went to his Guru, his teacher, Dronacharya, and spoke to him these words. Which words? Which we'll see in the third sloka. But in this sloka, Sanjay is telling Dhritarashtra, as he is supposed to narrate everything that is happening on the battlefield. So he is telling Dhritarashtra that after seeing the military arranged in a complex military formation by the sons of Pandu, that means Pandavas, King Duryodhana, he went to his teacher and spoke these things. Now, actually, the Kaurava had a mighty, powerful, and vast army in comparison to Pandava's smaller battalion. Kauravas had 18 regiments, while Pandavas had only 11. So it was 18 regiments against 11 regiments. No match whatsoever, 18 and 11. But having said that, the mightiness and the intelligence of the side which had Shri Krishna on their side automatically multiplied many folds, obviously. The Pandavas arranged their army in such an intricate way that the formidable appearance would scare the enemy. It needs some intellect, military intelligence, to arrange your army in such a way that the enemy gets scared by having a look at your army. The formation deceptively made their army looking larger and more powerful. Now, this perception is a relative phenomenon. For example, in a certain situation, you feel insecure, but pretend and act in a self-assured, arrogant fashion. Then your opponent will easily get deceived into believing that you are powerful. And it would be better not to mess with you. You have given him that perception. In short, you will be perceived by your conduct, how you conduct. You must have heard about the lie detector machines these days, which are used by the investigative agencies to find out whether the person is telling a lie or truth. He is lying or is not lying. They are designed to detect the changes in the body temperature, the sweat, the pulse rate, the blood pressure, all sorts of things. All of which changes when the mind is fearful of getting caught. Of course, there are some perennial seasoned liars who can even pull that lie detector machine. That's apart. So Pandavas were using the psychological tactics. They were using the psychological tactics to get the upper hand in the war by playing the mind games. Much before using the physical weapons, they used the weapon of their mind by arranging the military in that particular intricate fashion, which scared Duryodhana when he saw it. So it had its effect on King Duryodhana, and the worried Duryodhana, he went to his Guru Dronacharya and said these things. Which things? He said, Pashyam Panduputranam Acharya Mahatin Chamum Vyūḍhān Drupada Putrena Tavashishena Dhīmata. Dhīmata, very intelligent. Pasha. Pasha means just see, behold. Panduputranam, the sons of Pandu. Acharya, teacher, Guru. Mahatim, Mahatim means great. Chamum, Chamum is army, military force. Vyūḍhān, that is the military formation we saw in the first sloka. So he said to Guru Dronacharya, "O Guru Dronacharya, just see the great army of Pandavas. Muhatin Chamum, great army of Pandavas, arranged in a great military formation, Vyudham, so expertly by the son of King Drupada, your own intelligent and clever disciple. Drupada Putrena, son of Drupada, King Drupada. Pasha, see." So Duryodhana is telling Dronacharya, just see the powerful army belonging to the sons of Pandu, so very skillfully arranged by your intelligent disciple Drushtadhyumna, the son of King Drupada. Now Duryodhana is also trying to play the mind game. What is his mind game? He is trying to provoke Dronacharya by pointing out his disciples in the army of enemy camp of Pandava. See, your disciples standing there, kill them. They are fighting against you. So he's trying to provoke Dronacharya. As if to say, see how mighty your disciples are. So you need to strengthen your war games now and to defeat them. Hence he asked Dronacharya to see his disciples standing powerfully in the enemy camp. Drushtadhyumna was the higher ranking general in the army of Pandavas. Duryodhana asked Dronacharya to see how cleverly this Drushtadhyumna, son of King Drupad, had arranged the army in order to scare Kauravas. Duryodhana was scared despite knowing that his army was mightier than the enemy's army. In fact, he had other reasons also to get scared, which we'll see when we come to next few shlokas. Some of them we discussed in the beginning, disrobing of Draupadi and all those, but more details we'll discuss. We go to first shloka. Atra shura maheshvasa Bhimarjuna samayuti yudhano viratascha drupadascha maharatha. Here, atra means here. Here means where? In Pandava's army. Here in Pandava's army, there are many heroes and fighters, shura, who are as good as Bhima and Arjun. Bhimarjuna sama. Same like Bhima and Arjun in bravery and in fighting. Great fighters like Yuyudhan, Virat and Drupad. So these names were given. Duryodhana, he continues, saying that here in this army of Pandavas, there are many valiant warriors armed with huge bows and arrows, and archers like Yudhan, Virat, and the heroic chariot warrior Drupada, and they are equal to none other than Bhima and Arjuna in their fighting prowess. Now we know that Bhima had colossal strength and had previously defeated Duryodhana in many so-called friendly matches. Wrestling was regarded as a form of exercise, and friendly matches were held frequently, all taken in good spirit, of course. And in all those matches, Bhima used to defeat Duryodhana. Now see how Duryodhana's distress is surfacing. Since he had suffered defeat at the hands of Bhima on several occasions, hence he mentions Bhima in the first place, of whom he was the most scared. But there was a greater reason behind this, which was related to the humiliation of Draupadi when that disgraceful attempt was made to disrobe her in public. When Bhima had seen highly distraught and Draupadi shedding tears of their disgrace and dishonor, which was meted to her, he had roared ferociously, taking a vow. I, Bhima, the son of Kunti, hereby take a solemn oath that Duryodhana, you will die at my hands. I pledge to crush your chest and wash Draupadi's hair locks with your blood. And I won't rest until I do so. Duryodhana was remembering this oath of Bhima. See, when you are outraged, your strength gets multiplied. Even a weak, keen person becomes strong under the influence of anger. And he is ready to fight. Duryodhana was well aware that not only that Bhima was immensely powerful, In fact, the fire of vengeance and anger burning in his heart had multiplied his power and determination many times because he had taken that oath. And that made him an extremely formidable opponent for Duryodhana. Now, Duryodhana is telling Dronacharya that the enemy camp had not only stalwarts like Bhima and Arjuna, but many more equally accomplished warriors. This way, Duryodhana was actually inciting and provoking Dronacharya. After mentioning this, he begins the list of names of those powerful warriors from Pandava's side. Yudhan, Virat, and Drupad. They were relatives and friends of Pandavas. Drupad was the father of Draupadi. And it was but natural that if Drupad, he wanted to avenge the humiliation faced by his daughter Draupadi. By the way, Yudhan was not killed in the war, but he died in a mutual fight among Yadavas. Yadavas, they started fighting between themselves, and this Yudhan died in that infighting of Yadavas. King Virat and his three sons, Uttara, Shweta, and Sankar, they were killed in the war. All got killed in the war. King Drupad, father of Draupadi, was killed by Dronacharya in the war. Let us go to next shloka, 5th. Drishtaketusche Geeta Kashirajascha Veeryavan Purajit Kundi Bhojascha Shaibyascha Narapungavaha. Duryodhana continues, naming the warriors from the side of Pandavas. There are also great, heroic, powerful, brave fighters like Drishtaketu. Drishtaketu was the son of Shishupal. We know Shishupal was beheaded by Lord Krishna. Drishtaketu was killed by Dronacharya in the war. Chekitan was a Yadav king. He was also killed by Duryodhana in the war. Kashiraj, the king of Kashi, he also got killed in the war. Shaibya, he was the father-in-law of Yudhishthira, the eldest of Pandavas. So this shloka says the noblest of men, Narapungava. Narapungava means noblest of men, such as Drishtaketu, Chekitan, the mighty king of Kashi, Kashiraj, Purajit, Kunti Bhoj, and powerful, intelligent Shaibya, the father-in-law of Yudhishthira, of course, are all there in the army of Pandavas. Purajit and Kunti Bhoj were Kunti's brothers. So they are the maternal uncles of Pandavas. But both Purajit and Kunti Bhoj were killed by Dronacharya in the war. Drishtaketu was killed by Dronacharya, Chekitan was killed by Dronacharya, Kashiraj was also killed in the war. So everybody died. That means it was not only side of Kaurava which suffered the losses, Pandavas also suffered huge losses. Many of their warriors also died. Next shloka. Yudhamanyascha Vikranta Uttama Ojascha Veeryavan Saubhadrau Draupadeyascha Sarva Eva Maharataha. Yudhamanyu, desire of waging the war, the heroic Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamauja, Abhimanyu, the courageous son of Saubhadra and Arjuna, and the sons of Draupadi. All these mighty warriors are also a part of Pandava's army. Duryodhana is telling Dronacharya. Now Duryodhana is naming all these warriors as he wanted to provoke Dronacharya by repeatedly drawing his attention to the might of his enemy's army, so that he takes a vow to defeat Pandavas. In fact, not merely defeat, but kill all of them. Yudhamanyu and Uttamauja were killed by Ashwathama when they were sleeping. Abhimanyu was killed by Dushasana's son when he unjustly hit him with a mace on his head from the back. Draupadi had 5 sons, one each from her 5 husbands. Pratividya, Sutasoma, Shrutakarma, Satanika, and Shrutasena. They were respectively sons from Yudhishthir, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakul, and Sahadeva. They all were killed by Ashwathama when they were asleep in the night. See, so many people from Pandava side also died. Now, 2 more interesting incidents occurred before the war. Before the war commenced, I mean. The Pandavas bowed down to Dronacharya, their guru, saluted him in order to get his blessings. And such was the effect of Krishna's presence there, that the words Vijayi Bhava, that means be victorious, these words came out from Dronacharya's mouth. Vijayi Bhava, coming from your Guru, is a great blessing to you. And Shri Krishna somehow got it managed coming out from the mouth of Guru Dronacharya when Pandavas bowed down to him and saluted him. Even Bhishma Pitamaha, the grandfather, was an invincible stalwart, a yogi, a devotee of Krishna, Bhishma. We all know Bhishma Pitamaha told Vishnu Sahasranam to Yudhishthira on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So he was a devotee of Krishna, of Lord Vishnu. He had the boon of voluntary death, Ichha Maran. He could give up his body at his own free will. That was the boon he had. He had made a pledge to his father that he will safeguard the kingdom of Hastinapur and protect the rulers of Hastinapur. Now, having committed this to his father and bound by this pledge, he had no option but to fight from the side of Kauravas, because they were holding Hastinapur. Despite knowing that they were on the wrong side, Bhishma Pitamaha had to fight from Kauravas' side. And the situation was not much different for Dronacharya and Kripacharya as well. They repeatedly tried to convince Duryodhana not to enter into war. But having failed to do so, they also had no option but to stand by Duryodhana. They were all bound by their obligation, loyalty to Hastinapur. Duryodhana was well aware of all these facts, and hence he was getting apprehensive whether all these people will fight wholeheartedly or not. And that's why he was trying to spur Dronacharya by giving all the names who are fighting against us. Next shloka. Asmagantu vishishta ye tannibodhat vijottama nayaka mama sainyasya sanyarthan dandravimite. O Dvijottama, best of Brahmana. Dvija Uttama. Dvija means two. Brahmana are supposed to get birth twice. Dvija Uttama, twice born. Why twice born? One is the physical birth of Brahmanas. And second birth of Brahmana is said when they become Jnani. They learn from Vedas, Upanishads. So they become Jnani. They justify their being Brahman at that stage. So Dvijottama, they get two births. Two births means not physical two births, but one birth physical and another birth when they acquire this Jnana. So Duryodhana says, O distinguished Dronacharya, Dvijottama, that means twice born. How twice born, that we already discussed. Let me now tell you, for your information, about the leaders who are qualified to lead my military forces, Asmakam, our side. Now we'll start telling about Kauravas army. Because having discussed about Pandavas army at length, now he sees the point in telling the preparation of his own army. And he says in the 8th sloka, Bhavan Vishmascha Karnascha Kripascha Samidinjayaha Ashwathama Vikarnascha Saumadattistatthai Vacho. Bhavan means you, your good self, aap. In Hindi we say aap. So aap means Bhavan, you, your good self. Bhishma Pitamaha, Karna, Krupa means Kripacharya, was Chiranjeevi, immortal. Samitinjaya, always winning. Ashwathama was the son of Dronacharya. He was also another Chiranjeevi, immortal person. Vikarna was Duryodhana's brother, one of the Kauravas. He got killed by Bhima. Saumadatti, son of Somadatta. His name was Bhurishrava. He got killed by Satyaki. Tatha means and as well as. So you, from our side, Duryodhana is telling Dronacharya, you, your good self, Guru Dronacharya, and Pitamaha, Bhishma, similarly Karna, and always victorious Kripacharya, and Ashwathama, Vikarna, Somadatta. Somadatta means Somadatta's son, that is Bhurishrava. They're all there. Now Dronacharya, Bhavan, is Dronacharya, Aap, whom Duryodhana is calling Aap Bhavan. He got killed by Drishtadyumna. Karna got killed by Arjuna. Bhishma Pitamaha, he gave his prana after the start of Uttarayan. Actually, he was severely injured in Dakshinayan, but since he had the free will to die whenever he wanted, so he waited for a few days and he left his body when Uttarayan started. Dakshinayan and Uttarayan. In 8th Adhyaya Bhagavad-Gītā, it says the benefits of dying in Dakshinayan and Uttarayan. It is said that people dying in Uttarayan, I mean people who are yogis, not ordinary people like us, but yogis who die in Uttarayan, they never get rebirth. So he waited. Bhishma being a yogi, he waited for Uttarayan to start and then he left his body. Vikarna, he got killed by Bhima, and Bhurishrava, as we discussed, he got killed by Satyaki. So Duryodhana is telling these are all the personalities, such as your respected sir, you yourself, Bhishma, Pitama, Karna, always victorious Krupacharya, Ashwathama, Vikarna, son of Somadatta, that is Bhurishrava. Now Bhishma was senior to Dronacharya. But Duryodhana took the name of Dronacharya first. He refers Dronacharya as the most distinguished Brahmana. And this was just to flatter Dronacharya, to make him feel superior. So Bhishma was senior to Dronacharya. See, Duryodhana was also an intelligent man. After all, he was also the disciple of the same guru as Pandava were. Although it is another matter that despite being disciple of the same guru, one became Arjuna and another became Duryodhana. That is why never say that a disciple mirrors his guru. It's not true. Where Duryodhana and Arjuna alike, they had completely contrasting personalities. Duryodhana further flatters Dronacharya by naming his son Ashwathama among the valiant generals of his army. There were so many, but he purposely took Ashwathama's name because he was son of Dronacharya. To evoke the paternal feeling of Dronacharya. See, your son is there on our side. A father may concede losing, but would never want to see his son getting defeated. So, in a way, Duryodhana was saying to Dronacharya that if not for Kauravas, Dronacharya ji, you should be victorious, at least for the sake of your son, who is fighting from our side. So he is shrewdly using the sentiments to exploit Dronacharya's weakness for his son. Every father has a weakness for his son. And in addition, he mentions Karna because he was Duryodhana's dearest friend. And he also mentions Vikarna and son of Somadatta, that is Bhurishrava. As we discussed, Dronacharya was killed by Drishtadyumna, while Bhishma died during that Uttarayan of his own free will. Karna was killed by Arjuna. Ashwathama. Now there are 8 immortals in the world, as per our scriptures. Ashwathama, Bali, Vedavyasa, Hanumana, Vibhishana, Krupacharya, Parshurama, and Markandeya. These are the 8 immortals. Ashwathama was one of them. Krupacharya is another. So Krupacharya and Ashwathama both fighting from the side of Kaurava. Both names were taken by Duryodhana to remind Dronacharya that we have people who are immortal, who would never die. So we have to win this war. Whatever happens if Krupacharya and Ashwathama never die, we are going to win this war. We must. Pandavas have no such immortal person on their side, but we have 2 of them on our side. Okay, and that Vikarna, he got killed by Bhima, and Bhurishrava was killed by Satyaki. We go to next loka. Anne javahava shura madarthe tyakta jivitaha nana shastra praharana sarve yuddha visharadaha. In addition, there are many brave warriors who are prepared to give up their desire to live for my sake. They are prepared to sacrifice their life for my sake. And they are prepared to relinquish all that they have and take the death for my sake. All of them are well versed, well equipped in usage of different kind of weapons with the Visharadaha. and all are having great skills in fighting the wars. They know the military science. So Duryodhana continues describing about his own army, saying that there are many other valiant warriors who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons and are highly proficient in the military warfare. Now the above words, that many warriors are prepared to sacrifice their lives for me, this kind of declaration from Duryodhana, it smacks arrogance on the part of Duryodhana. Particularly when he is interacting with his guru, that means he's implying that those warriors, including Dronacharya, were fighting for his sake, for Duryodhana's sake. Because he brought every warrior and got attached to himself to them, saying that all of them are fighting for my sake. See, the war is always fought for the state, not for an individual. And Duryodhana, in reality, was not even the king. The king was Hastinapur was Dhritarashtra, not Duryodhana. But the arrogance of Duryodhana, it made him say like this. And it was also worth noting that Arjuna, instead of accepting the Lord's Narayani army, Krishna offered both things. I could take one side and my Narayani army, I will give to another side. What do you want? Duryodhana, like a fool, he asked his Narayani army. And then Arjuna said, please come on my side, I want you. So Arjuna, instead of accepting that Lord's Narayani army, which was well equipped with arms and ammunition, accepted the unarmed Krishna. While Duryodhana, in place of Lord Krishna, he accepted his Narayani army. It means Arjuna had eye on Lord Krishna, while Duryodhana had an eye on Lord Krishna's stately power, his army. You see, the heart of a person who has an eye on God is clean and refined because God's strength is real and limitless. If God is with you, then your strength also becomes real and limitless. But the psychology of the person who is eyeing on the worldly power, that means on the military force of Krishna, is surely strange. His psychology is strange, Duryodhana's. Because the strength of world is unreal and it is limited. Paramatma is unlimited. That army, Narayani Sena, was limited. So how can Paramatma's Maya be stronger than Paramatma? The Narayani army was Paramatma's Maya only, no? His creation only. So can the Maya be stronger than Paramatma himself? No way. Okay, we go to the last sloka of today, 10th. Aparyaptan tadasmakam balam bhishmabhirakshitam paryaptan dridame balam bhimabhirakshitam. Duryodhana says, we have huge, immeasurable strength and we are perfectly taken care of, protected by Pitama Bhishma. Whereas the strength of Pandavas, which is well protected by Bhima, is limited, just enough. Our strength is immeasurable, limitless, and we are protected perfectly by our grandfather Bhishma, who is invincible, whereas the army of Pandavas, although protected by Bhima, is just enough. 18 battalions versus 11 battalions. 18 battalions of Kauravas versus only 11 battalions of Pandavas. So definitely, our strength is immeasurable and limitless. Now, in the context of Geeta, some thinkers, you see, people read the same shlokas, but 10 people can draw 10 meanings of the same shloka. Here, the meaning that we draw is Kaurava's strength was immeasurable, they say, Duryodhana says, Pandava's strength was limited. But some thinkers, they draw a wonderful meaning of the shloka. What is the meaning? Our forces of desire and sensory temptations, our forces of desires and sensory temptations, though unlimited in number and protected by the strong ego power, may be inadequate because our strength is related to our body identification. Our kamanas and our ways of sense gratification, they are unlimited, but they are of no use because they are attached to the body. Whereas Pandava's army, may be limited in number, consisting of absolute principles of unchanging truth, the ultimate truth, and defended by the power of soul-guided life force. Defended by Lord Krishna, soul-guided life force, and together they are capable of destroying this body identification. So this is the meaning, wonderful meaning people can draw out of this simple sloka. Aparyaptanta smakam balam bhishma virakshadam paryaptanta dametesham balam bhima virakshadam. Okay, I think we stop here, and now the forum is open for all of you to raise your questions. Thanks once again for having the patience to listen to me. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you so much, Vikas Bhaiyaji.
Thank you.
We are grateful for the time and effort you took to share your knowledge and experience with us. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
I would like to thank our technical team, our Vivechana team, and our all volunteers who are serving for Lord Krishna without any demand. They all are doing with Nishkama Bhava. And I would like to thank you to all. Thank you so much, all of you. Now it's time for a Samapana prayer. So let's take a Samapana prayer. Yogesham Satchidanandam Vasudevam Vrajapriyam Dharma Samsthapakam Veeram Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Vikas Bhaiyaji.
Jai Shri Krishna. Any questions? If anyone is having any questions.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी बरनऊ रघुवर विमल जसु जोदायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसतिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन वरन विराज सुवेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिवे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिवे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीनी बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई सहस वदन तुम्हारो जस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हारो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे ते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे। होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे, सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना। तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना, आपन तेज संभारो आपे। तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे, भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे। महावीर जब नाम सुनावे, नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा। जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा, संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे। मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे, सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा। तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा, और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे। सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे, चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है। प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा, साधु संत के तुम रखवारे। असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे, अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता। सबर दीन जानकी माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा। सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा, तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे। जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे, अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई। जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई, और देवता चित्तन धरई। हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई, संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा। जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा, जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई। कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई, जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई। छूट ही बंदी महा सुख होई, जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा। होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा, तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा। कीजय नाथ हृदय महडेरा, कीजय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय।
Jai Shri Krishna to everyone. You can ask your questions next Earth Vivechana Satra. Please note down all the question. You can ask Vikas ji on next Earth Vivechana Satra. Jai Shri